All right, good morning, everybody. My name is Chris Konetsky, and I'm the group publisher here at BPC. Can I get a big round of applause for all of our speakers here today? I'm so glad you're with us today for 90 Ideas in 90 Minutes. And while our speakers are certainly going to inspire you today with a sampling of some of their 90 ideas that are in the publication on your table, I get the pleasure of sharing with you the first idea of the day, and it's the most important for today. I'm going to need you guys to be a little bit louder today than a normal business event. Can we do that today? All right. Like, I don't want to have to do the showbiz thing. Can we be louder again? There we go. Thank you. This isn't a normal business event. We try to get a lot of energy going for it. You're going to get some great ideas from the panelists today. Your job isn't done today. When they're up and getting ready to speak, we want you to be loud. If you've got somebody here you're supporting, we want you to cheer and hoot and holler and woo and do whatever you need to do. That's not really me, but I want you to do all the wooing you can want, okay? Everybody good? All right. I heard one woo. That's nice. All right. 90 Ideas in 90 Minutes is one of our favorite events at Business Record. It's certainly one of my favorites. Much of the time, we're all business. We're talking about economic forecasts. We're talking about transactions, and we're always talking about helping you do business better. Sometimes, though, we need a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of motivation, and that's the inspiration for today's event. So what we've done in the past is we've turned to some of the best and brightest leaders from across the community so that we could get a little bit of their wisdom today. As always, the newsroom took nominations from the community, and Emily Wood, our co-moderator today, and our team assembled an outstanding panel of the region's most forward-thinking leaders from the public and private sector, from all walks of life. Many of the ideas over the years have made their way into our culture and into my leadership language: assume positive intent, the speed of the engines, that's the speed of the train. And I'm looking forward to finding a new nugget, or maybe 90 today, that I can take away as well. So thank you for being here today. Thank you for supporting our speakers. And of course, I need to give a big thank you to all of our supporters today that are helping make this program possible. I'm proud to introduce our first presenting sponsor, Dentons Davis Brown. Founded in 1929, Dentons Davis Brown is a progressive collaboration of talented law professionals committed to smart and creative solutions through a client-focused, cooperative work environment. Please help me welcome Tara Hall, attorney shareholder, to tell us more about Dentons, and you need to do the same applause for our sponsors as well, too. So let's give her a big round of applause.
Thank you, Chris. As Chris mentioned, I'm a senior litigation shareholder and a proud member of the Dentons Davis Brown Board of Directors. In both roles, we recognize the importance of listening, engaging, and learning from diverse perspectives. That is why we are thrilled to sponsor this event. We are here to listen, to gain insights from a wide array of Iowa leaders. As the world's largest law firm, we are thrilled to support businesses, individuals, entrepreneurs in a wide variety of industries: manufacturing, agribusiness, venture tech, finance, insurance, healthcare, senior living. The list goes on and on. Change is a constant for our clients, as we know. At Dentons, we embrace it, helping clients grow, protect, operate, and finance their organizations, lives, and ideas. Like the speakers we will hear from today, we know that fresh ideas are crucial to our business, to thriving employees, and strengthening our communities. In fact, our purpose statement reads, "We redefine what is possible and shape the future together, everywhere." This is one of my favorite events of the year. Just like Chris, I always leave so inspired and ready to take action. By being here today, you have invested in yourself, and I promise it will pay off. Our community's strength lies in our people, our shared ideas, and our dedication to turning those ideas into reality. Dentons Davis Brown is here to support you and to help bring your ideas to life. Thank you.
Thank you, Tara, and thank you, Dentons Davis Brown. Our next sponsor is Broadlawns. Celebrating 100 years, Broadlawns is Iowa's only county hospital serving one of the most diverse patient populations in our community, and it proudly provides quality care to the largest volume of refugees in the state. With over 100 different languages spoken each year on the campus, Broadlawns strives to provide culturally competent care to our community. Broadlawns today is hosting their entire leadership team at an on-site meeting today as they're working through as an organization, and they're going to be unable to join us in person today, but we of course thank Broadlawns for their support, not only for 90 Ideas, but in our community, and of course in the publication you can check out their bonus idea as well. Our next supporting sponsor this year is Momentum Studios, which is a strategy and innovation consulting agency that partners with companies of all shapes and sizes, from startups, social impact organizations, and to Fortune 500 companies. Please welcome founder and CEO Jeff Reed.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I didn't hear any woos, but it's all right. Okay, there we go. All right. Thank you so much for being here. It's truly an honor to be able to support events like this, be able to give back to the ecosystem and the place that we call home. Like Chris said, we are a strategy and innovation company. We do work with large organizations all the way to startups. We primarily focus truly on strategy development and building innovation capabilities. This is one of my favorite events, as Chris alluded to. It's just a fun event. It makes me connect to one of our values, which is relentless curiosity. And so when I get to listen to the ideas, it's really being able to be curious about what they could be. As far as our company, just some fun things that were happening that I think would be connected to this is launching an Ideas into Action series coming up. It'll be probably a 2025 thing, but essentially big brainstorms or think tanks of how we can solve social impact challenges, and connecting with our large organizations, nonprofits, and any of those that are passionate about the actual challenge to help solve them for our communities. So extremely thankful to be a sponsor, and hope you guys have a great day.
Thank you, Jeff, and thank you for everything you and your organization do. Our final supporting sponsor is NCMEC, which was founded in 1946. They're the nation's largest provider of chiropractic malpractice insurance. Their goal is to help doctors do more by offering insurance and finance products to help protect their reputation and their practice. Please welcome President of NCMEC, David Siebert.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it. I'm David Siebert with NCMIC Group. I would tell you that our friends, our employees, and our longtime customers just call us NCMEC. Kind of goes way back there. We are a insurance and financial services company, been around since 1946, so almost 80 years. And I would tell you that I've been here for 29 years, and for much of that time, we've been one of the, I would say, best kept secrets in Des Moines, and we're trying to change that by getting out to events like this. So I'll tell you a little bit about us. We are laser focused on working and protecting healthcare providers, specifically chiropractors. We provide insurance products to help protect them in their practice. We also have financial services we provide to help them grow and prosper. I could tell you that when you walk in our building, you'll see in big letters, we take care of our own. And when we think of our own, we think of our customers. We provide world-class service to them, products that are amazing. But we also think of our staff and their families. We look to make sure that we take good care of them, and that shows up in the top workplace results and all the accolades we get in the community. But beyond our customers and our staff, we also love being a part of the Des Moines community. That's a big part of who we are and our culture. So we look for events like this to be a part of, and can't think of a more exciting event to get a chance to introduce NCMIC2. Can't wait to hear all the ideas. I am going to kick off with not really an idea, but just maybe a reminder. Don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone, get uncomfortable. My watch was telling me that my heart rate was abnormally high a few minutes ago because I don't like doing this stuff, but I know it's good for me to do it, so don't be afraid to do that kind of stuff. And this could be in your personal life, this could be exercise routines, but mix it up. Change is good. Thank you all.
Thanks, David, and we might need to get your watch to some of the panelists to see what our heart rates look like today.
We're doing that right now.
Thank you again to Denton's Davis Brown, our presenting sponsor, and to Broadlands, Momentum, and NCMEC for being our supporting sponsors for this year and for 90 Ideas. We can't do this event without them, so let's give them all a big round of applause again. All right, on to the program. My co-moderator today is Business Record Special Projects Editor Emily Wood. She's the one that worked so hard together to put together the perfect panel, to work on the publication along with the team to make that happen. So she's going to do a great job today. We're going to be alternating back and forth introducing folks. We want this to be quick. It's going to be fast-paced, so you get to hear as many ideas as possible. If we have some time at the end, Emily's got some extra questions prepared for the panelists. So quickly, here's the format. We're going to call the speakers up one at a time. They're each going to spend their time talking about some of their ideas. They might try to do all of them. We'll see. At the end, we'll have a few questions for the group, but we do have a pretty strict schedule to follow. So each of the 9 speakers is going to have 5 minutes and 5 minutes only to speak. The speakers might address all 10 of their ideas or just some of them, but at the end of 5 minutes, a timer is going to beep. Stacy's right up here up front. She has big cards she's going to be holding up to give them some warning signs. When we get to the end of the 5 minutes, that timer's done, they are done, we're pulling them off the stage, right? So this isn't like the Academy Awards, we're not gonna slowly rise the music. No, they are done and off, right? But there's always a risk. If you give somebody a microphone, a crowd, a time limit, sometimes they don't follow the rules. We don't like cutting people off during the middle of their award-winning speeches that are full of wisdom. But if they go over that 5-minute allotment, we have some special incentives for our speakers. Speakers, you might be wondering what those are. I know we warned you a little bit about this when you agreed to the terms, and all I'm going to say is in our instruction email that was about 15 pages long, I hope you read all the way to the end. All right, are we ready to go? Yes, thank you. All right, our first speaker is Connie Bozen. Connie's a proud graduate of East High School and continues to call the east side of Des Moines home. She entered the workforce as a buyer for a Yonkers department store. She owns and operates the Appalicious and Salad Bowl concessions, which are favorites at the Iowa State Fair. She spent much of her time in public service as well. She served on the Des Moines School Board from 2003 to 2017, and in 2017, she was elected as one of Des Moines' at-large city council members, and in 2023, she was elected as the first female mayor of Des Moines. Mayor, your incentive for staying on time today, if you go over 5 minutes, my 4-year-old son gets to be mayor for a day. And nobody wants that, I promise. All right, when you are ready, you point at Stacy and she'll start the timer for you.
I thought maybe you'd say come get Appalicious treats, but okay, Stacy, I'm ready to go. You can start timing me. A former Appalicious employee, Miss Stacy Thompson. She got all of her training from me. Good morning, everyone. It's so great to see you. What a great crowd. And it looks like you're having a good time, so that's even better. So I will start, because I've only got 5 minutes, they're gonna kick me off the stage. When I was elected last fall as the first woman mayor of Des Moines, I was humbled by the faith and support the voters had in me to tackle this important role. And it's been a great to run into young girls and they go, "You're the first woman mayor," and how excited they are. And it shows the role and the importance of the position that we have. One thing I've noticed was the level of importance the position of mayor holds. I'm getting called mayor all the time instead of Connie. I have held at-large positions from school board, city council at large, and I have 1 vote. Now I'm mayor. I cover the same people. I have the same vote. And yes, I have more duties, but all of a sudden I'm elevated to the mayor. The mayor does have, like I said, more duties over some things, but at the end of the day, I represent the same people and have the same vote. There is a potential risk by anyone in a leadership position who fails to distinguish between themselves and the position you've been elected to. The position you hold is not about you, but what you do in that position. As said before, I've lived almost my entire life on the east side of Des Moines. As a proud graduate of East High, where the motto is for the service of humanity, I believe it helped establish some core values for me, that no matter where you come from, everyone needs to be treated with respect. As leaders, our decisions and their impact will always fare better when you know the people we serve and understand their needs. And be committed to showing up when you are asked to participate. Not just be there, but be engaged and participate, and it looks like you guys are today. Do not overpromise and have realistic goals. You must be able to listen to people's concerns, but understand just because you don't agree with them, it's not that you didn't hear them. One lesson I learned very early on both my business career and especially holding public office, that you will never please everyone. It seems today that the word compromise is kind of a dirty word. That attitude is not productive and it needs to end. Life is all about push and pull and is one big compromise. Compromise works best when you place yourself in others' position and you get a better understanding of their needs, whether a constituent or fellow worker. We must be willing to have honest dialogue to have the best outcomes. And it's tough to win fights over something you don't really care about. If you want to have a successful initiative, it starts with unwavering commitment. Get a clear picture of what the challenges are so you can determine your level of involvement and how large the fight will be to be successful. In the end, there will be direct correlation between the initiative's success and your level of commitment. There are few things that irritate a constituency more than being discounted, diminished, or ignored. It is human nature to want to be recognized and heard. I have made it a priority as mayor to increase opportunity for people to get involved and for me to get out and about to see and hear what the needs of all the citizens are. It makes us better leaders when we create space and opportunity to hear from people and they hear from me. And it would be easy to interpret as we are in the midst of the 2024 election that words and actions don't matter. We see it play out daily. This is a misinterpretation. Words and actions are relevant, and it's dangerous and reckless to think that they're not. We should not condone or reward this type of interaction with the public, and we must bring back civility. When it gets personal, it creates a larger divide. We can agree to disagree, and it needs to be done in a civil manner. And the last thing is really get involved. Work to make your community a better place and the best it can be, and understand what the roles are. So thank you for having me. I got my 1-minute warning. Stacy, I'm on time. So have a great day, and thank you. And
Thank you, Mayor Bozen, for kicking us off. Dr. Adrian Henry is the 4th president of Mercy College of Health Sciences. Previously, Dr. Henry served as the Chief Academic Officer and Associate Provost for Hallmark University in San Antonio, Texas, where he was formerly the Dean of Arts, Sciences, Graduate Studies, and Research. Starting his higher education journey as a first-generation college student, he went on to earn several degrees, including as a Doctor of Optometry and a Doctorate in Higher Education Management. He's held executive roles within healthcare, education, and the U.S. Army. And as you'll see in the 90 Ideas publication, he makes a pretty good mascot. Dr. Henry, your incentive actually has to do with that mascot. So should you go over, we're going to require you to go through a whole business day as the mascot.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Chris. Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I thought we were supposed to have a lot of energy. Good morning, everyone. That's what I'm talking about. So, all right, I'm ready now. We'll start the time. So I wrote about 10 ideas of success in your booklets there on your tables. But this morning, I want to focus on 3. And I call those my 3 C's. 3 C's to be successful. And they are connection, courage, and curiosity. And I just wonder if you would say that with me. Connection.
Connection.
Courage.
Courage.
And curiosity. That's great. So connection, let's start with connection. Connection, you would need to team up with others to formulate the best plan. Relationships, build relationships today for when you'll need them tomorrow. Mentors, recruit your own mentors that will challenge your assumptions and push back on some of your ideas. That's connection. Courage. Simply make it happen. Be courageous. In terms of serendipity, you cannot know what you don't know. So find your strengths. Build on your strengths. And while you're at it, work on your weaknesses as well. Courage. That's courage. The curious mind is agile. It's flexible. It's adaptable. So you want to become a detective. And what do detectives do? They search for clues. They connect the dots. And last but certainly not least, they ask questions. Questions. So let me close with a story. At the age of 12, the average 12-year-old asks approximately 45 questions per day. And I should know because I have a 12-year-old. And a few weeks ago, my 12-year-old asked me, he said, "Dad, would you be happy if I bought my own car in high school?" The Army veteran in me said, "Yes, sir." And then he asked me, "Dad, are you going to buy me a car when I get to college?" I said, "No, sir. What? You don't need 2 cars, right?" So at the age of 15, the average 15-year-old asks approximately 25 questions per day. And I should know because I have a 15-year-old. Between the ages of 40 and 50, the average adult asks approximately 6 questions per day. And I should know. So can you all spot a trend as to the amount of questions as we get older? What's happening to the amount of questions? They're decreasing. Yes, I heard it. They're decreasing. But something miraculous happened when we get into retirement years. The amount of questions we ask begin to increase again. We begin to ask questions like, "Where are my keys?" Yeah. And have you seen my phone? You guys know what I'm talking about. So I think you get it. So the moral of the story is we enter school as question marks. We graduate as periods. So ask questions. So in closing, when the going gets tough, I invite you to lean into the difficulty of the work. Wear your battle scars with pride. And you all know, no pain, no gain. No rain, no rainbows. So, build connection, demonstrate courage, and fuel your curiosity. That's my time. Thank you.
Dr. Henry, my not fun question this morning was, should I take the interstate or not? And that's never a fun question. Unfortunately, Dean Alejandra Hernandez, the Zimpelman College of Business Dean at Drake, had a family emergency and was not able to be here this morning. But we encourage you to check out his ideas in the publication and see the great wisdom that he had to share there. John Jacobin has been the executive director of the BrokerTech Ventures Accelerator since 2020. In the role, he works with startups all over the country. Before that, Jacobin's companies have produced millions in revenue and serviced thousands of customers. In 2014, he took a company through Techstars. Since then, Jacobin has consulted for many organizations in the world of fintech and insurtech, including Des Moines-based Dwolla, where he managed the growth and internal services product teams. John, your incentive is insurance related, and so at your next accelerator meeting, if you go over your time, we're going to have you, completely serious face, pitch the idea of sandwich insurance.
Okay.
I don't do serious face very well, so we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm actually going to read my speech. Normally, I kind of go off the cuff a little bit. So given the context of what I'm going to be talking about, though, I think it's pretty important, and I'll circle back to it at the end. So you can start my time. Ladies and gentlemen, we're living in a time of rapid transformation. A time where conversations about technology are at the forefront of every industry. You've probably heard the buzz. AI is coming for your jobs. And while that makes for really great headlines, I'm here to tell you, take a breath. It's not taking your job, at least not anytime soon. Yes, AI is amazing, and it's advancing faster than most of us ever expected. But let's get one thing straight. AI is not some all-knowing, all-powerful entity ready to replace every single job. We're at the very beginning of a marathon. Right now, AI is like a toddler with a lot of potential, but still falling down when it tries to run. There are plenty of things AI just isn't great at, yet. Over the next 10 years, AI will evolve, no doubt. It'll help us be more productive, more efficient, and even open doors in how we work. But you won't lose your job to AI. You will lose your job to someone who knows how to use AI better than you do. That's the real shift. It's not about AI replacing people. It's about people leveraging AI to become irreplaceable. Think about it. The calculator didn't replace accountants. It made them faster and better. Email didn't replace letters. It just made communication quicker. AI is just another tool, albeit a very powerful one, that will help us reach new heights. But at the end of the day, it's the people who know how to use AI effectively who will be ahead. So, if you want to secure your future, don't fear AI. Embrace it and learn to work alongside of it. Now let me flip the script. You may be sitting here thinking, AI doesn't really affect my business. I don't work in technology. But here's the truth. You're a tech company, whether you know it or not. I don't care if your business involves cleaning houses, moving dirt, pouring concrete. If you're not thinking about how to use technology, then the reality is you'll soon be replaced by someone who does. Not a tech company in the traditional sense of developing apps or software, but a tech-enabled company. Imagine using technology to schedule, reschedule, service support, alert, and manage your customers in ways that are seamless and cost-effective. The companies that embrace technology, whether it's automation, AI, or data analytics, are the ones that will come out on top. You see, tech companies have a distinct advantage. They can offer a better experience to their customers, faster service, and more personalized attention. And guess what? They do it at a fraction of the cost. More efficiency means more money saved. A better customer experience means more money earned. It's a win-win that ultimately leads to, let's be real, world domination. Now, I don't mean this in a dystopian, take over the world kind of way. What I mean is that the companies that don't embrace tech will be left behind. And the ones that do, well, they'll dominate their industries. So what's the takeaway here? AI isn't coming for your job anytime soon. But if you aren't willing to adapt and use it, someone else will. And no matter what your business is, you are, or you should be, a tech company in disguise. Now, here is the real interesting part. The ideas and arguments that you heard, they came from me. But the entire speech, that was crafted using AI. Yes, AI helped me organize and articulate my thoughts. It didn't create the ideas, it just helped me deliver them to you. That is a perfect example of how AI isn't replacing us, it's enhancing what we can already do. Thank you.
John, I think we're going to have you use AI to come up with that sandwich insurance. So maybe we'll get that prompt going by the end of the program here. All right, our next speaker is Erlyn Kekenad. Let's give her a big round of applause. She is the Director of Operation Excellence at Principal Financial Group. She is a Human Rights Commissioner for the City of West Des Moines and also serves on the Advisory Board of Trustees for the Jacobson Institute at Grandview University. She's authored 2 children's books about celebrating diversity and kindness, including I Love Curry and I'm Not Sorry, and Happy in Your Skin. Speaking of being happy, earlier this year, she earned her doctorate of philosophy and happiness and has been one of the key areas of study. Dr. Keck has been chosen to structure her 10 ideas around that topic. Your incentive to stay on time today is you're going to have to carry your smiley face balloon that's in the publication with you for an entire day of business. I think it'll be around the whole principal campus. Sound like a good plan? All right, let's give her a big round of applause.
Kekenad. Erlyn Kekenad. Thank you. You can start my timer now, Stacy. Thank you. So right now, my household is buzzing with Beggar's Night and how do we bag more candies. I have a 6-year-old and a 7-year-old. So we're getting a lot of great laughs with knock-knock jokes right now. So before I start my talk about happiness and the science behind it, how about we start with some great laughs? So this is where we interact a little bit. So I'll say knock, knock, and then we go on. Everyone knows the knock, knock, how it goes, right? So knock, knock. Beats. Beats me. Okay, next time in my closing, I need twice the energy. So laughter is the best medicine. Laughter often tricks our brain into thinking that we are happy. I want to touch on 3 things today about what I learned about being happy and happiness at work as a part of my PhD dissertation at Drake University. First up, I'll do definitions. Second, I'll do time affluence. And third, I'll talk about you-dos, a done list to happier you. Now, happiness is subjective, and it can be different from person to person. In my research, I've learned there are 2 states of happiness, or 2 kinds of happiness. One is the hedonic happiness. Think about money, pleasure, power, fame, the outward happiness. And the second type of happiness is eudaimonic, which is pursuing happiness by finding your purpose and meaning. Hedonic happiness is what we learn that we should want. That car, the job, the promotion, the house, the boat. But strangely and interestingly, the things that bring us happiness is the eudaimonic happiness, which is something transcendent. It could be of faith, religious or non. People we love, friends and family. And third, the work, where we align our meaning and purpose. But happiness is not a goal, it's a practice. So how do we practice happiness? So this is where we'll do more interaction. First, it starts with being in the moment. Like Mayor Bozen said, showing up. But in this culture of endless scrolling and pings, we're always strapped for time, finding ourselves time famished. So how do we go to the opposite, which is time affluent? Interestingly, there are gifts of time that come to us throughout our day. And in the research, they use this term called time confetti. These are small windows of time that open up throughout the day when the meeting ends early. And many of us waste it. But when we find ourselves doing something with that time, it can result in you being happier. So I recommend a you-do list, things that you can do in this small window. Some of the things that I do is do deep breaths, walk across the floor, take a lap. And if I'm feeling stressed, like in the moment right now, I comfort myself with a self-hug and a self-talk. So let's demo a self-hug. How about that? I want you to go ahead and extend your arm if you're willing and able, and then wrap it around your body and give yourself a tight squeeze, a tight hug. And it's really good for those who are not huggers. You can let go. Research shows that self-kindness is a much better way to motivate ourselves. Our brain does not know where the hug is coming from. It just knows that you're being hugged. So have at it. The trick to be happy every day is focusing on that eudaimonic happiness. Here are some interesting facts about happiness at work. Happier employees stay 4 times longer in the job, are 2 times more committed to the task, and they have 65% more energy. Happier leaders drive happier workforce, and we all flourish as individuals. So learn more, care more, and let's trick our brain into being happy. Let's get those laughs again. How about another knock-knock joke in my closing? I have 30 seconds, so let's do louder, more energy. Knock, knock. Broken pencil. Never mind, it's pointless. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Erlen. I loved those knock-knock jokes. Cameron Nicholson is president and CEO of the YMCA of Greater Des Moines, which has 6 branch locations, more than 500 employees, and an annual budget of more than $15 million. Nicholson first joined the YMCA of Greater Des Moines in 2012 as executive director of the John R. Grubb Community YMCA on Des Moines' North Side. He also had experience working at YMCAs in Chicago and Charlotte, North Carolina before moving to Iowa. He's been instrumental in the YMCA Starfish Academy, which has an ambitious goal to give every kindergarten through 2nd grade student in Des Moines who is falling behind in reading access to a summer learning program so that they are reading at grade level by 3rd grade. Cameron, your incentive to stay on time is if you don't, we're going to make you do a public performance of the YMCA song. I think you could do it, so.
So I'm going to be vulnerable, so I'm going to ask for grace. Give me a second. I'm going to sing for you, which is something I've never done in public. Ready? When I was just a little boy, I asked my father, what will I be? Will I be handsome? Will I be rich? Here's what he said to me. Que sera, whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, whatever will be, will be. When I grew up and fell in love, I asked my sweetheart, what lies ahead? Will we have rainbows day after day? Here's what my sweetheart said. Que sera, whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera. Now I have children of my own. They ask their father, what will they be? Will I be handsome? Will I be rich? I tell them tenderly, que sera, whatever will be, will be. The future not ours to see, que sera. You may know that song. I sang that song in 8th grade. No YMCA song now. I sang that song at my 8th grade graduation at LaSalle Language Academy in Chicago, Illinois. That was about 3 or 4 decades ago. So today I want to talk about a leadership trait that's emerged strongly during one of the most challenging times in recent history. And that's our collective ability to be comfortable with ambiguity. If there's one positive takeaway from the pandemic, it's that uncertainty and chaos taught us a valuable lesson about operating within the unknown. Many of us found ourselves in a world that changed overnight. Businesses were forced to pivot, families had to adjust, and leaders faced an overwhelming amount of ambiguity. In those moments, we had very little information, and much of it was conflicting information or incomplete. But as leaders, we didn't have the luxury of waiting for clarity. We had to move forward, make decisions, and lead our teams through a time of unparalleled uncertainty. What stood out to me was how the leaders and teams that adapted successfully weren't just reacting, they were leading with calmness and objectivity. Even under immense pressure, the ability to remain calm in the face of uncertainty is one of the core traits of good leadership. It isn't about having all the answers. It's about being able to navigate when you don't. It's about creating stability in an unstable environment and helping others to see the opportunities within that environment. An essential part of being comfortable with the ambiguity is recognizing valuing different perspectives. We saw how important it was to listen to multiple viewpoints, whether from stakeholders, employees, or even experts who had conflicting advice. The leaders who thrived took their perspectives, considered them carefully, and didn't rush to conclusions. Instead, they suspended judgment and allowed room for improvisation. The leaders embraced ambiguity rather than resisting it, using it to inform and strengthen their decisions. This trait of being able to pivot quickly, to improvise, and to suspend judgment isn't something we should forget now that the crisis is behind us. In fact, it's more important than ever. Our world continues to change rapidly, and the ability to lead through ambiguity is not just a crisis skill, it's a long-term leadership muscle that we must continue to strengthen. I urge all of us to take a moment to reflect on the past few years, think about how you responded when you didn't have all the answers. How did you lead your teams when things were far from clear? How did you develop that muscle? the ability to make decisions amidst uncertainty have made you a more adaptive, resilient, and thoughtful leader. Let's not lose that muscle. So, sing it with me. Ready? Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera. Thank you.
I can say we've been doing this for a long time. We've not had somebody sing before, but that was fantastic. And we might have some time at the end for the YMCA, I think. So, all right, our next speaker is Abby Ryland. Let's give her a big round of applause. Abby is the president of commercial real estate for the Sarah Hopkins Real Estate Team, a RE/MAX Precision Urban office, and also the owner of 8035 Wellness. She was brought onto the Sarah Hopkins Real Estate Team to bring experience with commercial leases and other aspects of commercial real estate to the group. Part of the team's goal is to better represent and serve women in the community. Ryland was a member of the 2023 40 Under 40 class and has volunteered for multiple organizations, including Young Women's Resource Center and the Iowa Homeless Youth Centers. One of her ideas in the publication revolves around how to avoid envy, and she recommends that you tend to your own lawn if you're ever looking at your neighbor's lawn and seeing how nice it is. And so your incentive to stay on time is if you go over, you get to take care of my lawn all next year. Let's give it up for Abby.
Thank you. You would not want me taking care of your lawn because that is my husband who has like a pristine lawn, spends far too much time. The good news is I'm gonna be quick, and the other good news is I'm not gonna sing because it would clear this room very, very quickly. So first, good morning. Thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here. I'm not often a woman of few words, which my husband can very much attest to, but I had time coming up with what to talk to you about today. I waited until the very last minute. I finished my speech this morning. So here's the thing. I kept feeling this obligation to give some advice or give a jewel of wisdom that everyone was going to take home and feel inspired and inspire brilliance and all this good stuff. And then I realized that this room is already full of a lot of brilliance and a lot of amazing greatness. And so I feel very underqualified to give any advice to you. So instead of doing that, I'm going to offer you a little bit of the self-reflection I did over the past month trying to come up with what I wanted to say. And we're going to go back in time to 1989. I was about 7, but there were a lot of hairstyles and fashion choices at this time that were really exciting. And I'm going to give you a glimpse into my most favorite outfit of all time. And we'll circle back to why this is important. But I want you to picture a 7-year-old Abby, 6 or 7, which makes me 28 today. And it starts with tie-dye. I spent at least 3 years solid in tie-dye. This particular shirt was rainbow tie-dye in nature, and it had glitter puff paint all over it. Anyone else? Puff paint? No? Okay. And it had stars and swirls and hearts, and you couldn't miss it from a mile away. The leggings that I paired with this were black, but they had a neon green stripe down the side with glow-in-the-dark stars. So even if it was dark out, you were going to be able to find me. Scrunch socks, anyone? Okay. And then I had a bow, a headband that was faux denim. It was very big, and it fit very nicely with my permed mullet, which I would like to thank my mother for. So I tell you about this outfit because it really reflected who I was at the time. I was a kid who was very colorful. I was bold. And when I wore this outfit, it inspired a great deal of confidence. I felt like I was expressing myself. Nobody could tell me that this outfit was not the coolest thing in the entire world. And so being an unapologetic child was great, but I think that the only reason that I'm standing here today is because I'm still very much my 7-year-old self. And anytime I've tried to conform to what I thought people wanted me to be, or what the rules were, I found myself distracted, and I just couldn't stick with it. Like, I couldn't contain myself. And so, although I've experienced many failures, ups and downs, sometimes the choices that I made didn't get me to where I wanted to go, but the good news was that I did things kind of my way. And I think embracing that has really allowed me to focus on my unique goals and put all of my energy into that instead of trying to get somewhere by other people's preferences. And so forging my own path was always really important to me, and I have found that most of my successes and most of my joy in life has come from just being myself. And I'm lucky because I'm really bad at being anything but that. I think 7-year-old Abby would be pretty proud of me. I think she'd stand up and give me like a woot woot. And so I think it's because she still sees part of herself in me. So today I leave you not with advice, but with a question. Would your 7-year-old self stand up and cheer on the person you are today? Thanks. All right, our next speaker is April Schmaltz. April was named President and CEO of Delta Dental of Iowa earlier this year. She has been with the company since 2014, leading sales, marketing, and product development. Earlier in her career, she moved to Iowa from Texas with a role focused on brain injury rehab. During that time, she grew to love Iowa and went back to school to earn her MBA from Iowa State. Schmaltz serves on numerous professional and community boards and councils, including Iowa Healthy Estate Initiative, Every Step, and the Global Insurance Accelerator. April, your incentive has a short backstory, and it kind of relates to Abby's idea of being yourself. So when I go to the dentist, I always request grape toothpaste. According to my coworkers, this is kind of a weird choice. So your incentive is if you go over, you're going to have to use grape toothpaste for the rest of the year.
Well, good morning, everyone. I too am happy to be here, and I realized as Abby was talking that in 1989, I may have had a very similar outfit, but I was in high school, and I'm pretty sure you wore it best. So as Emily said, I have been the CEO at Delta Dental of Iowa since January. And as I was walking through the process of becoming the CEO, I was asked the following question. Throughout your career, which of your degrees have you found most useful? Your psychology degree or your MBA? I responded with my psychology degree. The reality is one thing has remained constant throughout my career, and that has been working with people. So while both degrees have certainly been helpful, I do lean on my psychology degree quite often. So as Emily mentioned, I began my career as a direct care worker at a brain injury rehabilitation, helping individuals with acquired brain injuries regain their independence. While there, I was trained in rational behavior training. And over 30 years ago, I had no idea just how powerful that training would be as I walked through my leadership journey. So today, I'd like to share with you more about the lessons that I learned as I went through my study of people and behaviors. These 3 key takeaways that I'm going to share with you are some examples of how I choose to live and lead today. So my first takeaway, your thoughts create your emotions. So if you think something's going to be bad, it's likely going to be bad. You know, when I worked with individuals with behavioral challenges, I had a lot of rewarding experiences. But I was also called names. As a matter of fact, one of the individuals really liked to sing her insults to me. I had items thrown at me. I was spit on. And what this taught me was that, rather than just being able to duck a glass of sweet tea, is that our thoughts create our emotions. And they shape what we think, what we believe, what we expect, and ultimately how we feel. So if we recognize our thoughts, we can better understand and control our emotions. So I brought a prop. I don't know, there's my guy there. Sometimes props are really good ideas until they're not. But I got a reaction, right? It's good. I'm going to share a little story. So during rational behavior training, the trainer surprised us with a much smaller cockroach that actually looked pretty real and threw it on the table. And everyone reacted differently. One person laughed, one person screamed, one person backed away from the table. We all had different reactions to the cockroach. And what this demonstrated to all of us is that how we all see and think differently is based on our thoughts and our perceptions. So takeaway number 2. During training, I was told that other people don't make me mad, that I make myself mad. And honestly, I thought that was ridiculous. When I started at the brain injury rehabilitation, I was a teenager, and probably a pretty irrational one for sure. And I was convinced that it was everyone else's fault when I was mad. So then as the training went on, I realized I didn't really like other people to have that much control over me, and that was giving other people a lot of control. So by letting those emotions go when I was mad, I was doing just that. This changed my life. And now I'm going to be the first to admit, that's not easy. It's not easy for anyone, but it's certainly something that I strive to do every single day. My last takeaway that I'd have for all of you is to avoid absolutes. So some examples of absolutes are I always, I never, I have to. And ironically, an example that I've used when talking to some of my team members, even before I worked at Delta Dental, was I always brush my teeth at 7 a.m. And the reality is I do not always brush my teeth at 7 a.m. Sometimes it's 7:01, sometimes it's 7:06, or some other random time. And there are actually only 2 things that you have to do in life, that you have to do. Anybody want to throw out an idea? Close. One, we all have to die, right? We don't get a choice in that. And the second one is we have to make choices. And a lot of the times when I ask that question, what I get back is that we have to pay taxes. Well, not paying taxes is a choice. The consequences for not doing that aren't so great. But I also want to recognize that not all choices are easy or even something that we want to do. Life does happen. And when life does happen, there are usually choices involved. So we are each empowered to approach decisions with clarity, with purpose, and a sense of responsibility. And our choices remind us that while we may not have control over every outcome, we have the capacity to influence and shape our journey, and even more importantly, the journey of those that are surrounding us. So by removing those absolutes, I'm almost there, from my vocabulary, it helps to shift my mindset because remember, our thoughts create our emotions. So the next time you grab your toothbrush, let it be a reminder not only to brush your teeth, but let it be be mindful of how our thoughts and our language impact not only you, but the people around you. Thank you.
Well, when you're brushing your teeth, it'll be with grape toothpaste, apparently. So.
I like grape toothpaste.
Hopefully you like it. No, they made it.
All right, our last speaker for the day, BJ Windhorst. Let's give him a round of applause. BJ is the head coach of the boys basketball team at Valley High School, which has won the state championship for the past 2 years and also in 2016. Before Valley, he taught and coached at the Southeast Polk and Clarinda school districts. He grew up playing basketball at Clarinda and eventually at Drake. He also owns Air Free Duct Cleaning. BJ, if you go over your time, we have a referee, I know a couple, on speed dial. They're going to follow you around all day and give you some random technical fouls all day long. So, all right, let's give BJ a big round of applause.
Well, first of all, before you can start the time, Stacy, I need to remind you that I had you in class 27 years ago, and we'll see if you can follow instructions like you did then. I'm extremely humbled and flattered to be asked to be here today. And before I get into maybe touching on one or two of my items, it is very important. I think that the story that I'm going to tell, it ties back to those 10 things that you have in your booklet. And those were formed over the course of time through the story that I'm going to try to get through as quickly as possible. I just recently turned 50 this summer. At age 24, I had taken longer than most to finish my college degree in education and spent almost 2 years trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I can tell you for sure at that time, being a head high school boys basketball coach and a business owner was very far from the radar. Then the phone rang one day and my life path changed forever. It was the athletic director from my hometown high school saying, come home and be the head boys basketball coach. I had played, over at Drake, but I'd never coached. I had no idea what I was going to do or how I was going to answer that. So with a lot of family encouragement, I said, what the heck? At almost 25 years old, I was back home in Clarinda. 2 close childhood friends joined me, and off we went, having no idea what we were doing. But we had such an extreme care level for the school and the community, we poured ourselves into it day and night. We recorded 4 of the most successful seasons in gratifying years that I probably have had. 4 most successful seasons in school history, and when I left to come back to Des Moines, I left 4 sophomore starters behind. In the next 2 years, they won more games than had ever been won in school history. So the coaching virus and working with kids definitely had taken a hold of me. My next stop was Southeast Polk High School. At that time, quite possibly the worst basketball coaching job in large class at the time. Not one single person that I spoke to or confided in said, you should take that job. So naturally, I accepted the job. A year later, I married the love of my life, and I was on my way. So 8 amazing years went by, up and down, amazing years, rebuilding a broken program. I even ran into one of my former players and students in here today. Nick, I don't know where you're at. Being in the classroom, teaching U.S. world history, and starting a family, it was a great time. 2010, we made the school's first state championship appearance, but one day I woke up and I'd been at the school 70 hours that week. My wife was pregnant with our second of our 3 sons, and my paycheck was $58,000 a year, including coaching. I knew it was time for a change. So I left education as my primary income for good the summer of 2011, and I completely started over. However, I knew the coaching virus was still in me. The next few years, I was a traveling consultant for a good friend's company doing sales development and facilitating with large companies. I can't tell you how much I learned during that time about business and leadership. And it was also a great time for me to reflect on my previous 12 years as a head coach. And then the phone rang again. It was Valley High School, and in 2014, I came back there as the head coach, and that has been a dream come true. We have been, in the last 10 years, the winningest 4A program in the state. We're going for our 3rd straight championship this year and the 4th in 10 years, and I've been coaching 25 years, and I've never been more excited to go to practice. In 2017, not ever owning a business or knowing much about HVAC, my brother and I acquired Air Free Duct Cleaning from the original owner. At age 43, I went out in a truck for an entire summer, learned the whole trade, while a 25-year-old worker of mine bossed me around the whole time. Last year, I bought out my brother, and I've been the sole owner ever since. This year is going to end up being our most profitable year as a company since we purchased the business. So super proud of that, and yeah, thank you. And I'm really enjoying the challenge. It's a blast. So why did I ramble through this story? Well, a couple things. I have an extreme fear of failure. It's the sole motivator in my life. It's not healthy. I wouldn't recommend it. But I've also never been afraid to take risks. And you might ask, well, how do those 2 things coincide? Well, it's really simple. It's the people in my life. My entire family, my wife, my aunts, my uncles, my grandparents, my friends, everyone that I've ever loved has always told me you can do anything you put your mind and heart to doing. Just surround yourself with good people and have a great plan. So this plan over the years has accumulated in my 10 things that I put in the booklet there. And I'll finish quickly by talking about the one I love the most.
You can go over, we're short one.
It's definitely relationships, certainly at this time in my life. It's all about relationships with your people. This takes time, and it takes being intentional with your time. As a small business owner, I meet at least once or twice a month with every person I work with. And as a coach, I meet with all my players at least once or twice a month during the season. The attention is always for alignment, making sure we're both on the same page as it pertains to the mission. And the mission is how can the organization be successful while your people also feel valued and they have a purpose. How can I help them be successful or more fulfilled with that role with the organization or on the team? Ask them what's going well, what could be better. Most of all, get to know your people. Show them how much you care about them. And that's the thing I still enjoy the most about coaching. Thank you for your time today. Your ducks are probably dirty, so call Air Free Duck Cleaning, and go Tigers.
All right. Well, thank you, speakers. This has been great so far. I now get the pleasure of asking you all some questions. And just so everybody knows, we gave them some topics that might come up, but we did not give them the specific questions. So, John, you cannot have AI write these unless you're really fast.
Speak louder.
Unless they're really fast. So, speakers, I'm going to intermix some questions that I have for you individually with some speed questions. So with these speed questions, I want you to answer in 1 or 2 sentences. So just really quick responses. And I'm an editor, so no run-on sentences. All right. So first speed question. What is the most valuable trait of leadership? And we'll start with Mayor Bozen and go down the line. Most valuable trait of leadership?
I think really showing up and being honest with people and taking the courage to take on topics that might not be popular, but in the long run you think will be the best for people.
Yeah, to echo that, I think integrity, being able to be trusted in your organization, so integrity.
Empathy. I think that's one that we forget a lot, is to be empathetic and sympathetic with people.
I'd say care more. Walk into the room, get in the conversation, be caring about the people and the shoes that they're walking in.
Yeah, I would say empathy. I think putting yourself in someone else's shoes, seeking first to understand where they are going before you give your point of view is always important.
I'll just mix it up a little and go with adaptability, a willingness to pivot when you need to.
I would say listening, being a good listener, understanding where they're coming from before you make assumptions.
Being last is hard. I would say you must be able to put your ego aside. I think that's a big one.
All right, BJ, that means the next speed question, we're starting with you. But this question is for Abby. So this is true for many of our speakers up here, but Abby, you have a full-time role, you own a business, you're involved in the community, you have your family life, and I'm wondering what advice you'd give to leaders on time management and being able to do the different things that you care about.
I said I wasn't going to give you advice today. Oh gosh, I'm awful at it, to be honest. Like, I don't believe balance exists. I believe that everyone has 24 hours and you have to be really conscious about how you're gonna spend that, and sometimes I mess it up, and I often have to make changes to what that kind of, we'll call it a pie chart, to what the pie chart looks like. And I bank on my husband and my kids to let me know when I'm messing up for them.
All right, next speed question, BJ, we'll start with you, is what's one activity that you all do to de-stress or decompress? Yep, so, and then we'll go down the line.
Yeah, if I miss exercise every day, I'm all out of sorts, for sure.
I say the same thing, and it can be as simple as a walk.
I like to lift weights, makes me feel like a badass.
I would say it's my daily devotional, just getting my head right.
For me, it's reading. I like to read something and just try to distract myself. And of course, the self-hug that we all practiced, that does it for me.
I'm going to go on the exercise theme, CrossFit, because I like to beat the crap out of like 20 and 30-year-old guys.
And I'm going to stick with the exercise theme, exercise for me.
I'm still trying to figure it out.
Well, that works. Cameron, this question's for you. So at the Wyams, there's lots of employees across lots of different locations. So what do you do as a leader to create a shared culture between all of you?
I think you should always remember what your mission is. Why? What's your why? W-H-Y. Why? Get it? Why? And when we meet with our key leaders, we always try to have an activity of asking folks to consider, why are you here? And we hope that the response from our employees is about caring for our community and making a difference for people each day. So understand your why you show up every single day becomes the culture.
Okay, our next speed question, we'll just go back down here to start with Mayor Bozen. What's one idea, a quick idea on how organizations can enhance their cultures for their employees?
I think it's being open and listening to what is important for the associates or your team that are there.
Yeah, in higher education, we call it shared governance. So it definitely deals with listening and just being able to understand where you want the organization to go and get buy-in from everyone.
Give people the opportunity to try and fail. I know that is talked about a lot, but if you give the opportunity for people to try and truly fail and learn, I think that would be amazing to see that actually implemented in more organizations.
I'd say ideas come from everywhere in the organization. Just be willing to listen to employees at all levels in the organization when you're trying to problem solve. So to move into a culture of innovation, just be willing to listen to ideas at all levels.
Fun. Take the work seriously, but don't take yourself too seriously. I think there's always opportunities for us to pull back from really tough and tender conversations, right, where conflicts could escalate. But if we kind of remove the ego a bit and just realize that we want to share this space with people and not take ourselves too seriously, and we can find good solutions.
I think creating joy in the workplace is really important. I think we all expect a little bit of that at home, but I think it's actually rare in the workplace, and we are there oftentimes more than we are at home. So creating an environment that is joyful.
I would add, be intentional. You have to live your values, and it can't just be one day we talk about it and the next day we don't. So be mindful and be intentional.
In my world, labor is always an issue. So really being in tune, I try my best to be in tune with our people, and that for us that means, which I may be repeating some things, but we have team meetings once a week, and I try to allow them to have feedback on what they feel is best for the business, whether I let that go in one ear and out the other, or you take some of those things to value, to let them know that their voice is valued and get their buy-in a little bit more to try to curb back that labor issue. I mean, it is what it is with labor turnover in some industries, but that's how, in my small business, I try to attack that.
Thank you. April, this question's for you. I actually have two questions for you because I'm very curious. For those in the back who couldn't see, her giant prop was a big cockroach. So I want to know how you got that in here without anybody seeing, first off.
Well, first of all, I put it in between my paper.
Okay. Okay, well, now you need to scare someone with it.
I thought about throwing it, but if I threw it, I was afraid it was going to hit somebody in the head, and that's just not a good idea.
That wouldn't be good. So question for you is, one of your ideas mentioned remembering to prioritize yourself. And I know that can be a challenge for leaders, especially a CEO like you. Mm-hmm. What does that look like for you in terms of, on a day-to-day basis, making that time for you?
You know, I'm a big believer that taking your care of yourself, it should be a priority. It's hard to take care of others and be there for others if you don't take care of yourself. So from a self-care standpoint, and you all, whether you're a leader or you're in the crowd and you don't have a leader title, you are a leader in some way in your life. And so it's about helping others. And so what I do, the things that I would tell you is I would prioritize, maybe even put it on your calendar. Go take a walk, get some fresh air, go do something just for you, whatever that looks like for you. I'd also say go get your preventive exams, especially those dental and vision ones. Take care of yourself, because the last thing I'll say is that I like to bring joy to other people. And when you give that and you go and you try and find a way to make someone else smile, you get so much more out of it yourself. So find a way to make someone else smile every day, and you'll get dividends back in return.
Thank you. Our next speed question, starting down at far end again. If you could think across your career and think about a habit that you have had to break in your leadership style, what has that habit been that you've had to kind of get yourself away from?
Oh, that's easy. Stop trying to do it all myself. And life has forced me to do that, with trying to be a decent husband and a decent father. I have 3 sons. My wife is a healthcare administrator. I own a business. I coach life. So delegating for sure for me to learn how to be good at that and then have some peace with that has been the biggest challenge for me, for sure.
I can completely relate to that. But what I would say is that I've changed my language. I'll give you an example. I used to say, gosh, I'm so busy. And the reality is life is full. And we choose what we fill our time with. And if you're really honest with yourself and you step back and you say, am I filling my time with what's most meaningful to me and what's most meaningful for your business or what's meaningful, whatever, fill in the blank, you will open up time.
So the first thing that popped in my head was procrastination, and then I realized that I told you guys that I finished my speech this morning. So I stick to my answer, procrastination, but I'm a work in progress, and so I will continue working on that.
Thinking I can control all situations. I think when I was young, I like to manage things and have things go a certain way, and think I can influence all situations and outcomes for a positive way for people that I work with. I think of my career of working in the Y, we like to talk about we're a leader of leaders. So many of you guys talk about like how do you relieve stress or how do you have balance. You come to the YMCA and exercise, nowhere else. Right, because we have leaders in group exercise classes, we have leaders in child care programs, we have leaders in a lot of the other things that we do in our community. And my job is to lead those leaders. And I've had to understand that I can't control their destiny. No, I can't. I control their outlook. I can only try to influence them to be a positive example, right? So I've had to break the desire and the need to control it. I replaced it with being in space with them, right? And walking alongside them in the journey.
So for me, it's always used to be, why are others not happy in the job that I'm in? Or the job that we do. So one of the things I said in my talk is happiness is subjective, it's different from person to person. So one of the things I've learned, and a lot of people I mentor, is workplace is your workplace. It's like a buffet. You take what you like, be happy with that, you leave the rest, and then you craft your job and be happy. So I would say I am work in progress too, is trying to find the place and the work that's fulfilling and is aligned to my purpose. I'm glad that I found it right now, very happy. But I would say think about it as a buffet, take what you like, leave the rest, and then go on with your life and be happy.
Probably not having to win all the time. I think that was early on. I felt like I had something to prove, and so I had to be right. And come hell or high water, I would be right. And I think over time, I've just relinquished a little bit, kind of on the control side, and let other people be right, and really listen and allow them to flourish in their roles as opposed to being more dictatorial. And so I would say that would be the one thing.
John, that was fantastic. I almost stole that one from you. But I say letting go, the embracing the gift of delegation. So as you climb the ladder of success, you're going to need different toolkits for the different roles and responsibilities. So how do you let go and delegate so that you can manage at a different level? So letting go.
For me too, it's you can't do everything. You've got to be able to kind of let go. And I've always had kind of a lot of balls in the fire, as people say, between a full-time job, public service, Appalachia. So it's not one trajectory. It's all kind of different things going, and being able to let go. And in fact, Stacy's familiar with my daughters. They have done intervention, as they say, in my Appalachia business. They're coming in to help me from out of state next year because they said you can't do 20-hour days anymore. So again, but accepting that help and recognizing that you just can't do everything.
Thank you. Erlen, this question's for you. In one of your ideas, you talked about the notion of if you're always trying to seek the next big thing, that you're never really going to be happy because you're always focused on that. So what's your advice for helping people live in the present?
Live in the present. There's nothing, it's as simple as that. How many of us walked into this building today and we're looking at our phone versus looking at all the beauty that's around us? Fall is such a great season with nature, and how many of us missed it? So there's an example. When you walk out, just look around, the fall foliage around you. The sky is really clear today. I don't know how many noticed it. But it's really spend time with nature, spend time with what really brings you happiness, and live in the moment. There's just no science behind that than that. That gives you happiness. And people who live in the moment, even whether it's your workplace, whether it's you walking across from your office to your car, those moments are your time confetti, and make the most out of it. I would say that would be my tip about staying in the moment. Thank you.
BJ, this question's for you from your experience as a coach, and I realize, coaching high schoolers is different than some of the leaders in the audience and coaching team members, but what's your advice on motivating a team?
Oh, boy. Well, I would say the key thing that we have found, and I say we, it's important for me to say that because at every stop that I've been, but especially at Valley, I've surrounded myself with amazing other adults that has a very, very high care level about the kids. And so we spend a lot of time meeting, talking with them about things other than the X's and O's of basketball to build a team. Mainly the individual meetings. And I have often individual meetings with our players, and now it's become, I get a little uneasy if we get in the middle of a season and we've forgotten to have some, just to have them in the room to talk about anything but basketball. Our kids know we love them. And so once they know that, then anything is possible. And I think that's been a huge part of our success. And it helps to have good players. There's no question about that. But I've coached a lot of talented teams. I think what's separated a lot of our teams, especially as of late, is they know we love them. They love each other. And those individual meetings have been very crucial to that success. But doing the success and winning and things on the court, that's just a byproduct of that process.
Mm-hmm. John, question for you. You mentioned in your ideas that leaders should get out of the way of their staff. So what's your advice for doing that, but also making sure you still have a pulse on what folks are doing?
Yeah. So I guess the genesis behind that idea is that you always hear finding great people is difficult, right? And you hear that, and then you have many, not all, but many people who try to micromanage that relationship, and it's contradictory to what the reality should be, which is you hire great people. If you get that, you ultimately should let them be and do what they need to do. I'm also a proponent that everybody is different. So I don't think there's one way of how do you back off to let them, to give them the space to do what they need to do, but then obviously, keep tabs and make sure that things are happening. I think it depends on every individual employee. And I think if somebody approaches employees as a group, as a thing, as a singular thing, I think they're missing the point that everybody needs something different. And it's your job as a leader to figure out what that is so that you can manage that person and manage their work effectively, knowing that you need to give them some autonomy to basically try, fail, learn, rinse and repeat.
Mayor Bozen, this is a question about Appalicious. Is there something that you noticed in the beginning that didn't work and that you had to adapt, and what did that look like?
There was quite a few things. I first started out with one spot, and I realized that we would turn our back and slice an apple, and nobody saw what we were doing. As soon as we put it out front and sliced it, we started having lines because people could see what you could do. It was marketing. It's just showing people. And it's been interesting that being in a booth, I'll do as much business as a pretty fancy trailer almost, because people want to be able to see what you're doing, see you prepare it. And so as the second fair, I started doing a lot more business by paying attention to those kind of details. And then there's been some items that kind of flop, but other than that, and you see the apple egg roll that took off and won the best new food and still is the top item that we have. So it's understanding the needs of the customers you're serving and how you can draw them in and keep them loyal customers for 38 years.
Dr. Henry, I want to know what's one lesson that you have learned from your Army experience that you use in business now?
So, in our Army, while I was in the Army, we always talked about cover me while I move, right? And being able to look to your left, look to your right, and being able to rely on the person, the men, women in uniform. So that's what I do today. I take that with me. I have a cabinet, and they're here. Mercy College of Health Sciences cabinet is here, Shannon Cofield. But thank you. So I rely on the team. So even in my absence, so we should be able to look at my cabinet and say, cover me as I move. And so those were things that were transferable from the military into my civilian life. Thank you for that question.
Great. Well, your last speed question is going to be a final thought to share. I'm going to let you think on that, and I'll have Chris share some stuff about upcoming events.
I was spending some time looking on ChatGPT for my sandwich insurance idea that I got today. It already got 3 different tiers. We've got all sorts of different types of protections for your sandwich. So Delta Dental, if you're looking to get into the insurance business, maybe John has some good ideas for you today. So, all right, we're just about out of time. Like I said, we're going to give everybody a chance to give a closing thought. Before I do, I want to make sure to invite you to a couple of things that are coming up here in the coming months. On October 16th, we've got a great panel of leaders who are going to take a look at the job market and what it looks like for 2025. That's going to be at our virtual jobs outlook. In addition, we're going to be honoring the 2024 Denton's Davis Brown HR Professional of the Year, Jeff Fott. He's the Vice President of Human Resources, Talent Development, and Business for Grinnell Mutual. Let's give Jeff a big round of applause. We're excited to have him do that. If this is your first time attending a Business Record event and perhaps you want to continue staying engaged with us, I highly recommend you sign up for our Business Record Daily. You can do that at businessrecord.com/sign up. It's free. It's a great way to stay connected, to make sure you can find out about all the things that are coming up that we're working on, and of course, stay plugged into the community. And of course, if you want to stay in depth, in the know on with our in-depth coverage, we'd love to have you as a member of the Business Record. That's where we're going to have all our great coverage and help you really understand what's going on here in the business community. I want to make sure to point out the 90 Ideas publication again. The publication has 90 ideas in it, as you might imagine. They just scratch the surface of some of the great wisdom. A lot of them are being more humble than we know they are in that publication. There's a great number of nuggets for you to take away. I know a lot of folks take it. They put it by their bedside. They put it right by their desk when they start the morning. If you're looking for a routine to find a little way to get energy, I put it right by my computer. It's a great way to find something right to start your day in a good way. I also want to thank the entire events team, including Sarah Brown and Stacy Thompson, for helping make this possible. Let's give them a big round of applause. We're asked all the time, how do you get to be a 90 Ideas speaker? If you're out there today and you're thinking, man, I'd love to give that a shot, I can definitely keep it under 5 minutes. We're always looking for suggestions. Each year we put out a call for nominations, so feel free to reach out our way. We can make sure to get you to that nomination form. Emily and her team work to help put together a great group every year. So if you think you can do it, or you think that you've got somebody that you think would be a great speaker for this, please suggest it. That's how we get great nominations and bring a great panel in the future. All right, we're going to go ahead and go down the line, give you each a chance to go. And so, Brian, I'm actually going to start with you all the way down there at the end. And just a final takeaway to go ahead and wrap us up today.
No, you realize when someone calls me Brian, I think that's the only time I've heard Brian in my life, and my mom's really upset. That's okay. That's okay. I would say, for sure, the constant and never-ending improvement mentality. I've always said that I'll be done coaching when I wake up one day, and I have no desire to continue to chase that. I realize that makes it very tough to sometimes enjoy the moment, but I think you can do that and still have that mentality. So, with coaching and owning a small business, so constant and never-ending improvement mentality, I think, is extremely important.
So I think that what I'm going to share is, there is good in not knowing. So I think there's a perception, right, that leaders know everything and they will have the answer. I find that we've talked some about this, that, you surround yourself with smart people and then encourage them and empower them to have ideas and bring ideas to you. That certainly lifts everyone up, not the whole organization, the whole team, your family. Many ideas come from people that you least expect it. So when you do that and you empower others to bring everybody flourishes.
I surround myself with the best humans, so I want to give them a little gratitude today. I would encourage you to do the same, like sending a text to someone that just says, I appreciate you, can make a world of difference. And this is really random, but I want to give a shout out to On With Life, because my dad spent time there about this time last year. Give them all your time and money. I'm not even on the board or anything, but the stuff that they do is incredible and very life-changing, but also text someone that you appreciate them.
Final thought on what I presented today about comfort with ambiguity. The two things I didn't mention, but I think it's great traits for leadership, and it was mentioned by others on the panel. Dr. Henry mentioned curiosity, one of his 3 C's, and it's so important to be able to continue to ask questions, ask more questions, so you can really understand kind of the topic or the person or where folks are coming from. The other thing I would share too, that I try to do it, but I don't know if I'm always great at it, but it's to be humble, to remain humble and move forward, because that allows the space for people to come and make you approachable so that you can engage with other people, and you can't solve problems that you're not talking about. And the best way to talk about it is to invite people in. And the best way to invite people in is to stay humble. Thanks.
Okay. So we all heard this question. What do you want to do when you grow up? I always hated that question because I never knew what I wanted. So in the workplace, when we think about happiness and how to bring joy to work, if you can change that question and rather ask, what energizes you in your day at work or at home, and use that to help them craft and give them tasks to do more of those things. And also for yourself, understand what energizes you at work. And when you know what those are and you can strive to do more of that, You're going to bring joy not only to yourself, but also in your workplace, and you're going to be happier with what you do, and you will have greater impact in the community as well as with your team. Thank you.
So it's been said a few times, but if you think about it more in line with technology and just improvements that have come over the last 5, 10, 20 years, be curious. I think curiosity is really important, and play with things and learn and try and evolve. I think as we get older, we tend to think, well, I can't do that, or I don't know how to set the background on my phone. I'll get somebody younger to do it. Like, play with that stuff. Just try it. Try it. Give it a shot. If you screw up your phone, you can always go to the Apple Store or something like that.
Yeah, so great panelists and great audience, so thank you all. So I want to just reiterate what I said in my closing. So when the going gets tough, and tough it will get, lean into the difficulty of that work and wear those battle scars with pride, because success is never linear. And so you all say it with me: no pain, no rain, no rainbows. So, and to continue to be connected, be courageous, and fuel your curiosity.
First of all, I think being here today shows me that we have such a great community, and everybody here can help make it even better. So be part of the solution on any of the issues that are coming up. Get to know your community and understand their needs and how you can make a difference, and reach out. And yeah, no pain, no gain. I'll remember that one. Que sera, sera. But again, really understand what's going on locally, and really, I can't stress enough, be a part of the solution and help your community be stronger. And thank you for Business Record for giving us all this opportunity to understand and come together, and what a great opportunity we have to all work together as a regional entity to make this community the best it can be.
Well, I love the curious theme that we've had today. That's one of the reasons I love journalism and I love publishing, is because it's a license for us to get to ask questions, and it's a license to force us to continue asking questions, and that's a lot of fun. And I have the 4-year-old that's asking a million of those questions to the point where I'm exhausted from answering them. But thank you all for being curious with us today and being here to learn a little bit with us all, so that we could learn and grow as a community. We really appreciate it. And thank you again to our presenting sponsor, Dentons Davis Brown, and to our supporting sponsors, Broadlawns, Momentum Studios, and NCMEC. You hear me say it all the time, it's our job to help you do business better. And I've got a few ideas that I've been writing down and jotting in my phone today, so that I can bring that back to our team. Hopefully you've got some of those to bring back as well too. Let's give, I asked you to be loud, you guys were great today, so let's give them one more big round of applause today. All right. I got to give the first idea, I get to give the last one. I've been saying this recently, and I like saying it now. I get to leave you with one final one. So go make some good news today, and then Cam, que sera, sera. Yeah. All right, have a good day.